Hello everyone, welcome to this webinar with ProThoughts. First of all, thanks everyone for dialing in, okay, and coming on time for the session. And so this is a 1 hour webinar, and I'll try to complete the session in around 40-45 minutes, and then I'll take all the questions that you might have. Let's get into the session now. And before we get into the actual topic, just about me, so that you know whom you are getting the information from. So my name is Arvind Nahata. I've been working with ProThoughts Solutions since it was founded back in 2015. Okay, I'm one of the co-founders of ProThoughts Solutions, working as a director and partner. And then you can see my qualifications. I'm myself a PMP certified professional, and I've conducted around 130 plus PMP workshops so far. And plus I've conducted a lot many other project management customized courses as well, okay, for the corporates and all. So across geographies and across industries, I have around 20 plus years of experience, out of which 10 plus years have been in US. So I did my engineering back in India, shifted to US for my post graduation, graduated from Virginia Tech. After that, worked in the US for around 10 years, and after that came back to India for good in 2011. Okay, and since then till now I'm in India. So 2011, and I came back. I joined Accenture in Pune, India, and was working with them till 2015 before we took up this initiative of ProThoughts. Okay, so and then I've mentored around 3,000 plus working professionals so far globally, and 5,000 hours of project management trainings, which primarily is PMP workshops, major chunk of it, maybe 4,000 hours out of that. And then I have around 30,000 plus LinkedIn followers. I've maxed out my connections, so you can just follow me. I keep on posting a lot of things about project management on LinkedIn, so you can follow me there as well. And the rest, I think you just can go through the organizations I've been associated with before ProThoughts. Okay, that's about myself. And just quickly, so probably the voice is not a problem from my side. So probably it's, you just see if you can increase your volume on the laptop or desktop. Okay. Thanks, Rishikesh, for confirming. Okay. So so that is about myself. Okay. Now moving on to ProThoughts in quick about the organization. So as I said, we founded it back in 2015. Since then, we have been associated with PMI, the certifying body for PMP. So we had been one of the global REPs with PMI. Our ID is 4032. From this year onwards, PMI have got away with the REPs program. They are now, most of them, like they have been a little more stricter now. So number of REPs who were authorized to conduct PMP workshops till last year, that has reduced substantially from this year onwards. So now they have come up with this ATP program. So REP used to stand for Registered Education Providers. So we were the education providers for PMI. Now they are calling it as Authorized Training Partners, ATP. So, and the number of ATPs who can conduct the PMP program have substantially reduced globally, which is good for us in one way. So, okay, so REP is no more valid. It's now the ATP program which can conduct the PMP workshops across the globe. So we are one of the premier ATPs with PMI. And since 2015, we have been associated with Rita Mulki Corporation, RMC Publications, a US-based publication, which is supposed to be one of the best brands in terms of the study materials for project management. Okay, so we are the official distributors of RMC Publications, Rita Mulki, in India and Middle East. So we operate out of two offices, one in Pune, India, where I'm based out of, and the other one is Mumbai. Okay, and pre-COVID, we used to conduct classroom trainings in 6 cities in India. Hopefully, post-COVID, will continue that again. We have the presence in 6 cities and across beyond India in Middle East and Southeast Asia. That's our focus area. Okay, so in multiple locations outside India, we have been conducting the classroom trainings as well. And then we have trained around 5,000 professionals, 10,000 hours of training across 300 batches. And the courses that we offer, PMP, CAPM, PGMP, DASM, DASSM, MS Project, and several customized courses as well, right? So most of the PMI certification courses we do offer. Okay, and then customized training courses are for the corporate. So we are associated with 50 plus corporate clients. Few are big names, few are small names, medium names, and all. Few are recurring customers, and we are also associated with several B schools. You can see the names. Okay, and most of us are visiting faculty in most of these schools. We are also working in designing the MBA program in project management for several of the B schools. So we do a lot of things in project management. I'm just going to give you a little bit brief about that. And the one of the triggers which made us resign from our jobs, and like why I resigned from Accenture and took the ProThoughts associate full time, was because of our recognition by the CIO Review magazine, Times Group, back in 2015. So one of the first recognitions that we got was CIO Review magazine, Times Group. We were considered among the top 100 startups in India in 2015. And then like Your Story published our story in 2019. Then we had quite other few recognitions as well by Economic Times, Startup World, CEO Insights and all. So, but CIO Review magazine was our first recognition back in 2015. That was the trigger point which made us resign from our jobs and took this initiative full time. Okay. Now, coming to what we do overall, on the right top side, you can see trainings are our major chunk of, that's our strength. That's what we started with, and then gradually we diversified into multiple areas. So training itself can be categorized into 4 different types of training. Classroom trainings, which is right now on hold, physical classroom trainings, which are in 6 cities and other locations. But right now, last 2 around since COVID has impacted, that is not happening. So, but right now, online training, which is the live sessions like this one. And if you come for the certified courses, it is much more interactive than this one. So those live online trainings, the self-paced e-learning programs where the recorded videos will be given to you. Based on that, you can get certified and you can get trained. Then corporate trainings. So these are the 4 training things. And then we are also involved in the softwares, project management softwares like Primavera, Project Insight, Jira, MS Project. So a lot of these project management softwares, we train, we consult, we implement it at the corporates. So we do a lot of things about softwares, and then advisory and consulting at the corporates. So most of us are visiting consultants in many of these organizations. Okay. And then last year, just pre-COVID, we bought a platform called Talk Project Management, TPM in short, which we plan to promote as a rich content-based platform and an e-commerce platform, bookstore. So we are, and it's just that coincidentally COVID happened, so it went on the back burner. So now we are planning to launch it in the next 1 or 2 months again. So it's a relaunch of the same platform. So e-commerce platform is the primary focus there, where a one-stop solution to buy a lot of products, services associated with project management in one place. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about that in a while on the very next slide. Okay, so TPM. So these are the different things that we are planning to launch on that platform. So it will be coming in the next month or 2. Okay, so that was all about organization and myself. Now coming to the topic. So tips and tricks to crack the exam, the PMP exam. That's what we are focusing on in this next 1 hour, right? So first, to get PMP certified, I've broken down this whole session into 4 things. 1, what are the normal steps, which everybody teaches you, right? So if you're not aware, I'll just quickly go through that. We'll not spend too much time on that one. So first we'll talk about the normal steps. Okay. Then we will talk about how you can make it outstanding by not doing the same thing. Like if the individual takes 1 year to crack the exam, how can you actually effectively do it in 3 months or 4 months? Time value of money you need to understand, right? You save a lot if you are able to get certified early. You benefit financially, you benefit in terms of the time that you can spend with your family, the promotions that you can get early on, the salary hikes that you can get early on, a lot of things. So people don't understand that. Okay, so time value of money is something you cannot ignore. So putting a smart effort actually benefits you a lot. So normal steps, if you follow, probably it will take a year long for you to get certified. By the way, PMP certification is supposed to be or is considered among the top 10 toughest certifications globally. Top 10 toughest certifications. So it's not so easy to crack the exam, but it's not rocket science either. Okay, so if you have a good plan, if you have a good strategy, if you know how to smartly put in the effort, there is no reason why you should not be able to crack the exam. Okay, but one thing is there are no shortcuts. You have to put in efforts for PMP. That's why PMP has such a high recognition in the market, in the corporate world, globally. Okay, if you say I'm PMP certified, I know what you have gone through, I know, what you have learned, and what you are capable of doing, because the exam tests a lot of those things in you. So we'll just talk about that in a while. Okay, so you should know how to put the effort smartly, so that for sure you will be able to do it faster and effectively. And what are the blunders that you can avoid? A lot of people say, oh, PMP is not my cup of cake, I don't think I can do it. There is no reason why you cannot do it. An average person should be able to do it. It's just that you probably did not get a good direction on how to do it. So what are the blunders that people make? I'll just talk about those as well. Okay, so, and then there are additional tips and tricks that you need to know on how to effectively fast track your PMP certification. Okay, so these are the things that we will be talking about in the next, what, like 50 minutes or so, right? I'll try to cover it in 40 minutes. So normal steps. So regular steps is, first you need to gain experience. Without experience, you cannot go for PMP, right? So you need to have 3,500 hours of project management experience. So only you will qualify if you have that. So normally it comes down to around 36 months, 3 years, right? So 36 months into project management and you are all set for PMP. Okay, so experience is the first step. Now, if you have that, you need to go through this 35 hours of training, 35 PDUs. PDU stands for Professional Development Unit. One PDU is equal to 1 hour. So 35 hours of training, official training, which is PMI authorized. Only the ATPs can offer you that, right? So these 35 hours of training is what you need to attend. So experience plus these 35 hours will make you eligible for PMP, right? Now that you are eligible after attending this 35 hours of training, you need to take the PMI membership, and you need to make sure that, so a lot of these things can overlap a little bit, right? So you can get the study materials before the 35 PDUs as well. So 3-4 things can go at the same time, right? So 35 PDUs training, PMI membership, make sure you have all the study materials. Plus, once you have all these three, then after you attended the training, self-study is the most important part of the whole PMP program. Okay, so self-study, and that will take the maximum time out of your whole entire preparation. So you need to prepare based, you need to do a lot of self-study. The only thing that you need to make sure is, a lot of institutes just give you the training and leave you at your own. You need to decide whether you want to go or not. That's why a lot of people drop out from PMP. So you need to make sure you have the educational support post the training, after the training. There should be some expert, some trainer who is associated with who can work with you, helping you with your doubts, clarifying your doubts, helping you with each and every step. If you hit any bottleneck. So that educational support, and as well as application support. I'll just talk about that in the very next slide. Okay, so you need to do a lot of self-study, and make sure you get the educational support from the ATPs. And then you also need to do an application to PMI. This application process you can do immediately after the 35 PDUs as well. So once you are eligible, experience and 35 hours of training, after that, anytime you can do the application. So this application process itself is a cumbersome thing. Okay, so you will need application support, because we get a lot of candidates who come to us saying, ProThoughts, our application actually went into audit or query or got rejected, can you help us? So you need to know exactly in what format, how the application has to be done, because PMI can reject it left and right. They want exactly, it's not like a copy paste from your resume or a CV. Okay, it's not a copy paste from there. So you need to put your experience and a lot of things that needs to be done in a very proper, in a very specific format. You should be knowing that. So application support is something, if you try to do it by yourself, believe me, more than a week's effort. Okay, if you get a good guidance, it's less than 1 day's effort, maximum 2 days effort. So, and still after 1 week, you still might be not sure whether it will go through or not. So you should know. So make sure application support is provided by the ATPs. Educational support is provided by the ATP post the training. These two things are important. Okay, and then the mock tests, the most important part in the whole thing after the self-study. Okay, so mock test, I'll come to that as well in detail. So once you feel that with the self-study and everything, you are now ready, you feel all the content, you are confident, you understood the concepts, and you are all set for the exam, you might think you are ready, but you may not be ready. So how to check that? Mock tests. So these mock tests will actually tell you whether you are really ready, how your scores are coming in the exam, because knowing about the subject and scoring in the exam are two very different things. You might be very knowledgeable, but still your scores might be low. Or you might be very average knowledge. With an average knowledge, you might be able to score pretty high. So you need to, and I'll come to those things about mock test. Okay, so mock test is an important thing. Without giving the mock test, you should not be going for the final exam. Okay, so make sure that once your application is through, the mock tests are taken, and now that your mock test scores are supporting that yes, you are ready, at that point you should be paying the exam fees. Your application, I'm assuming, is approved by then, so you will pay the exam fees, schedule a date for the exam, attempt and clear the exam. So this is a step-by-step procedure. Few things can overlap, can go before and after, like PMI membership, you might take it after the self-study or before, but PMI membership has to be taken before the application. Okay, mock tests, probably with the 35 PDUs, you will get it from the ATPs. So few things might go, but these are the things that you need to do. Okay, I tried to do it in a one logical sequence, but few things based on your comfort level might change. So Savita has raised the hand. Yes, Savita, please unmute yourself. Savita, you raised the hand. I unmuted you.
Sorry, it was my...
Savita, your voice is trembling, not clear.
Yeah, let me join back. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's clear now. You can speak now. Okay, so I think we'll wait. I think let's continue till Savita comes back, okay, with her query. So this was about the regular steps for PMP. Okay, so you experience, I'm just quickly summarizing. The experience and the 35 hours of training will make you eligible. So experience, nobody can do anything. You have to work towards that experience, and then you need to attend one of the official 35 hours of training with one of the ATPs. Once you get those, after that, PMI membership, make sure you have all the study materials and the application. These three things you need to do in any sequence, whatever you are comfortable. And based on that, based on the training, after the training, you need to start with your self-study as well. When you feel your self-study is complete, you are confident with the subject, you need to take the mock exams to evaluate yourself and make sure that you're scoring good enough. I'll talk about if you're not scoring, what to do and everything, but make sure till that the mock test will tell you whether you're ready or not ready. If you're ready, then go towards paying the exam fees and taking the date for the exam. Okay, so this is in short the sequence of steps. Now, moving on to, I'm sorry, I skipped 2 slides. Yeah, so one of the things before we talk about the smart effort, okay, how to smartly prepare for PMP. What are the things the blunders that you should not be making? Okay, to tell you that, before that, you should know about the new structure of PMI, okay, which is the ATP program. So one of the things is, till last year, once an institute is authorized, registered education providers with PMI, they can decide what study materials, they can decide who the trainer is going to be, they can give the 35 PDUs to you, and they can do everything. Only the exam taking is with PMI after that, right? But from this year onwards, PMI have taken full control over it. Okay, not any institute can decide who the trainer is going to be. Like, say for example, and not all institutes are registered education providers as well. So if till last year, if there were, say for, I'm just making up a number, okay, so if there are 2000 REPs globally who were conducting the PMP programs, they have become much more stricter in approving the institutes to conduct the PMP program. So that 2000 probably is now down to 1200. So that 800 institutes are no more authorized to conduct the PMP workshops. They cannot issue you, based on that, the PMI will not issue you the 35 PDUs. Okay, so you need to know which institutes are authorized ATPs who can conduct the PMP program, number one. Now, once the institute is authorized, they become ATPs. Now they need to project their trainers to PMI, saying these are the trainers whom we want as our PMP trainers. So like Arvind, Nahata, I was personally, and plus 3-4 of us were projected to PMI. Okay, and ProThoughts have only 2 authorized trainers. So out of the 4, 2 got accepted by PMI based on the credentials and a lot of things. So PMI approved, okay, these 2 trainers are okay for conducting the PMP workshops for ProThoughts. Now, once they are approved, like I was approved, so every approved trainer has to go through a train the trainer program with PMI, a TTT program with PMI. And after that, we need to take an exam and clear an exam. Only after clearing that exam, attending the session and clearing the exam, after that, we became a PMI authorized instructors for PMP workshops. So you need to make sure that the institute is an ATP. They have PMI authorized instructors who can conduct the PMP workshops, and no more study material we can decide. Every institute, every ATP has to use the same presentation slides and train you based on that. Not only presentation slides, a lot of other study materials that you get from us, they are all standardized by PMI. So PMI is providing, these are the study materials, you need to pass it on to the candidates. On top of that, if you pass something else, that's your lookout. But these are the basic ones that you have to pass on to all the candidates. So the training slides on which we train you on those for those 35 hours, those are standards offered by they are the PMI issued slides which we train you based on. Okay. So the training slides, the training material, the trainers, the institutes, everything, the study materials, most of the things PMI have standardized, and PMI have created a platform which you can see the name at the bottom, PMI Choice Platform. So we call it as a logical operations. It's maintained by, it's outsourced to an organization called Logical Operations. So lochoiceplatform.com, Choice Platform, Logical Operations PMI Choice Platform. So you will, each of you who get associated with an ATP, you are supposed to get a license. Using that license, you get the access to that platform where all the PMP content which PMI is directly offering to you. We are a mediator. We are buying the license from them and passing it on to you. All the things that PMI wants you to prepare based on for PMP will be offered directly by PMI to you on that platform. Okay, so it's completely standardized. It's not like that we can decide what study material you should be preparing based on, because quality was suffering a lot. A lot of institutes, by making it a cheaper option and all, they were compromising with the quality just because of a little bit amount. People were compromising on the quality and then later on deciding, oh, it's not for me, and it's not working out PMP stuff. It's not tough. It's just that you are not picking up the correct material, correct training. If you compromise on the quality, obviously there are no shortcuts to PMP. Okay, so the PMI became very strict from this year onwards on all of these things. So this is just, I just wanted to tell you about this because you need to understand the difference between the REP program last year and the ATP program this year. Okay, which is starting from 2nd January this year. So this was the PMI structure, the new PMI structure. Now, the smart way of preparing. First of all, the 35 PDU training, you should be doing it with ATPs. This is a PMI recommendation, as well as personally also I think that the quality just cannot go wrong because it's all controlled by PMI, right? You will be giving a direct feedback to PMI as well after the training program is done. So a lot of things are controlled here, so nobody can compromise here, else they will get affected. So you can be rest assured, if you are associating with ATP, quality for sure is taken care for, and you are getting the content and everything directly coming from PMI. So it's the most trusted source for PMP, right? That's one thing. And don't try to get away with the PMI membership. A lot of benefits are there with the PMI membership. Probably a lot of institutes don't tell you a lot of benefits. That's why you feel, oh, it's just an extra money going away. PMI gives you a lot of benefits, which probably, if it's not known to you, I try to cover that like around 15-20 minutes in the session on the first day. So you should know all the benefits of the PMI membership. Okay. And then the study materials. As I said, most of the study materials will be provided by PMI directly. But on the top of that, you need some of the additional supporting materials, which is not that elaborated, but like, think about it. In our school times, college times, we used to have a textbook and we used to have a guide. And many of the times we used to prefer guide. Why? Because guide used to make our life easier to understand the concepts with activities, examples, questions, and a lot of those things, right? So it prepares you from an exam orientation point of view more effectively. So along with the PMP student manual and the other PMP study materials, which will be on the platform, you will need some supporting materials. So Rita Mulkey comes very handy. As I said, Rita Mulkey is one of the best brands, right? So Rita Mulkey's textbook is supposed to be one of the best books in project management, and they have focused books on different certifications of PMI. So there is a PMP exam prep book, there is a CAPM exam prep book, and so on. For every PMI certifications, they have a dedicated books which is focused on the and that particular exam with a lot of, like in that book you will have 400 practice questions as well, a lot of other things, benefits, activities, exercises, and everything, which probably you will not find that much in the PMP. So if you need those additional things, Rita Mulkey is one of the best study materials to support that. So these are the two main textbooks, one coming from PMP, one PMI, and the other one is the Rita Mulkey. This is what I will recommend personally. ProThoughts normally recommends. Okay. So, and then all the supporting materials that you will get from us. So you get a ProThoughts e-learning platform access where a lot of case studies, application tips, how to avoid the rejections from the app for the application, then some sample practice questions more, plus mind maps, flashcards, a lot of other things which is there on the e-learning platform of ProThoughts. So you will get access to that soft copy as well, right? And PMI choice platform I already told you. So it's a PM coming directly from PMI. So those are the supporting materials, okay? And self-study, as I said, is the biggest chunk of the effort normally to crack the exam, inclusive of everything, starting from the after the 35 PDUs till you clear the exam. The total effort that you might need will be somewhere between 250 hours to 300 hours. Okay. Now, if you ask me whether I can crack PMP in 3 months or 1 month or 6 months, I don't know. It's up to you. I don't know whether you will be able to spend 1 hour every day or 5 hours every day, right? I know one candidate of mine who completed after the 35 PDUs, cleared the PMP within 20 days. And then I had another example where people have taken 1 year. So it all depends upon how many hours every day you can spend, right? I can give you the strategy. I can tell you the do's and don'ts, which I'm going to cover. But after that, those 250 hours, how quickly you can give that effort on 1 hour every day or 5 hours every day, I don't know about you, right? So that you need to do a self-evaluation, and based on that, do a backward calculation. Okay. So 250 to 300 hours is the overall effort, which includes the entire process, self-study, mock test, application process, everything included. But the biggest chunk out of it, like if I say 300 hours, probably 200 hours out of that will be self-study. Okay. So self-study, when you're doing, you will hit a lot of bottleneck, because in 35 hours, that's like a kickstart only to the PMP program. We cannot cover each and every line of the book, the textbook, the syllabus in those 35 hours. We try to make the target of these 35 hours of training is to make your life easier with the book. Without this training, 35 hours, if you start with the book, it might take you 6 months to 8 months by yourself. Our target is to reduce that to 3 months. So that 300 hours, 200 hours of self-study without this training probably will stretch to 600 to 800 hours. You might struggle in understanding a lot of concepts. So 35 hours primarily is focusing on covering the tougher concepts, which people find it tough to understand. And the areas which are important from exam point of view, we focus on those areas more, right? That's how we will be covering the 35 hours. And so that's how the 35 hours. But that's why immediately after the 35 hours, you just cannot take the exam, because it will need a lot of effort after that as well to go through the whole syllabus. 35 hours is just to make your life easier with the study material. Reduce that 600 to 800 hours to 200 hours, bringing it down to that. Okay, that is the target. Now, that's why one of the things is after the 35 hours, more you delay, tougher it is for you to crack the exam. Try to do it ASAP. Earlier you try to do it, easier it will be for you to crack the exam. If you stretch it for 1 year, 2 years, believe me, you will start forgetting what you learned in the workshop, and then it's about just that 800 hours of effort is what is stepping in now in your program, right? So try to do it ASAP after the session. Okay, so enroll in the 35-hour training only when you feel that the next 3 to 6 months you are relatively free. You have some time to spend, maybe 2 hours, 3 hours every day you can spend beyond your work, beyond your personal life. Then only you should go for the PMP certification. If you are super occupied, please don't enroll in the PMP program. You are making a mistake. Probably it's not taking you anywhere. I know you will not be able to crack the exam, because that effort is something nobody can replace you with. You cannot pay to somebody and ask, you prepare for me, right? You have to put in your effort from your side. It's your learning. You need to learn and pick up things, understand the concepts, right? So self-study is the biggest chunk. That's why you will need guidance in those 200 hours of effort, and make sure that you have a proper guidance available from the ATP. The trainers are going to be available. Post-workshop support is available to you. Okay. 8 out of 10 organizations don't provide that. So please make sure you only enroll because you will need it. Okay. And the application support. Okay, so application support, just to make sure the chances of rejection, audit query, I think I talked about it in the last slide, that even after putting one week of effort, you might get rejected, versus, like, say for example, if you ask me, I know what exactly the reasons are for rejection, right? So if you send me your application, I can review, I can see, I know what they're looking for, how to present it so that it will smoothly go through. So I can suggest all the changes that's required, right? So, and we have experts in-house as well. So make sure that you get this extra pair of eyes, look at your application before you actually submit it to PMI, and who know what PMI is expecting and how they are expecting. Okay. So that is the application. And then mock tests. Now, application, one of the simplest parts. If you, like, say for example, if you get associated with ProThoughts, you don't have to worry about application part, right? So application is still taken care. We can take care, we can ensure that your application will go through. We will exactly tell you how to do it. But mock test is one of the most important things. So I'll tell you about that in a while, but mock tests is the way to tell. So when you feel you are ready, and when you take the, say for example, the mock test number 1, the mock test will tell you, oh, you are not scoring good enough. So if you, okay, so in that case, identifying your gaps, it could be knowledge gaps, it could be some personality gaps. So a lot of different types of gaps can be there. So identifying your gaps and working towards it and fixing it so that your score improves. That is important. So mock test actually tells you where are your gaps. And ProThoughts have created a very effective tool called ProMock. Okay, I'll show you at the end. So where once you take the exam, we generate a report, tell you how did you perform, which areas you didn't score well, where you need to work upon, all the correct answers with explanation. Everything is there on that. So you can analyze your results in very detail, so that you know where to work on to improve your scores. So we offer 5 mock tests online. Each of them like is exact replica of PMP exams. Okay, and we normally suggest that if you take those pro mocks with us, make sure that you take each of those mock exams as if you're taking a final exam. That way you will be able to evaluate yourself correctly. So mock tests is one thing. And then educational support I've already talked about. It's optional but recommended. Okay, it comes with the self-study part. And I think the rest of the things is only scheduling the exam. You need to know when you are ready. Again, mock test tells you. That's why scheduling the exam is also, you should know what's the criteria of passing and everything. It's a lot of combination that you need to understand. I normally take around 20-30 minutes to explain all those in the session on the first day of the. So scheduling the exam, when to do that, you should know that. Okay, the strategy has to be there like that. Okay, and I'll talk about the do's and don'ts of during the exam on the next slide. Okay, so this is what we just did. So now, if you put all these smartly, if you prepare for the exam, all of these things, one, you save time. As I said, 1 year can come down to 3 months, 2 hours every day, 3 hours every day. So 800 hours can come down to 300 hours, right? That's one. Chances of still after putting 800 hours, you still may not be confident. And by putting 300 hours smartly, you probably might be very confident. So higher chances of success, which will give you more confidence as well, and a value which is you are generating, right? With a lesser effort, better outcome. So it's a higher output. Okay. And chances of dropping out also reduces. A lot of people drop out from PMP because they feel, oh, it's not my cup of tea. So it's just that they did not plan properly, did not have a strategy. That's why it's not like they're not capable. They are capable, but they don't know how to do it. So if you know how to do it, smartly prepare, plan for it, prepare for it, chances of you dropping out from PMP also reduces substantially. Okay. So blunders. First, Many of you probably have got the information that, oh yes, we need to prepare based on PMBOK. Okay, PMI themselves market it saying PMBOK is not a PMI specific study material. For all our courses, we have only generated one study material, which is called PMBOK. So it's not a PMP specific exam material. That's why they are creating a platform on which they are giving you additional study materials only focused from PMP, right? So PMBOK, if you are preparing based on, believe me, that 300 hours is going to become 800 hours for sure. Okay, so that is one thing. Please don't prepare based on PMBOK. Whether it's 6 or 7. Now PMBOK 7 has also got launched. And a lot of people have the question, oh, PMBOK 7 has got launched. So what has changed in the PMP program? Nothing has changed in the PMP program. How it was in the month of February, Jan-Feb, it's the same thing which is going to continue in the month of August, September, October, November, and December. So nothing is changing because the exam is not based on PMBOK. PMBOK is created for a different purpose. That is for defining the standards in project management globally, right? Not for the exam. So a lot of people prepare based on that, which is a blunder. So not recommended. Okay, that's one thing. Second, the biggest blunder, even if you pick up the correct institute and everything, still don't memorize the concepts in PMP. It's all about understanding the concepts. The syllabus is so huge that if you start memorizing, you will drop the idea to do PMP. Less than 5% of the syllabus has to be memorized. Less than 5%. Okay, so make sure that you know what to memorize, what not to memorize. So very less to memorize. So make sure you know what to memorize. Okay, and then there are no shortcuts. If you try to get some shortcuts or something, believe me, you will blunder. You will fall. You will not be able to succeed. Okay, a lot of people assume a lot of things. Okay, and most of the time which people make assumptions are based on the updates on the internet. Referring on the internet, a lot of unreliable sources available who just provide their mindset, their thought. You need to understand one thing. There is no one size which fits all, right? Your preferences, your way of understanding things and my way of understanding things might be different. How you look at things, how I look at things might be different. What works for you may not work for me. So because something worked for me to crack the PMP exam, it does not mean that it will work for me as well. If it works for me, it does not mean that will work for you as well. Okay, so listen to everyone, but make decisions based on what your conscience tells you, what you feel that what will work for you. That will give you self-confidence. You know yourself better than anyone else. So don't rely on internet. Listen to internet, but on internet, one problem is a lot of wrong information is also there. You need to know whether it's reliable or not. That's one another important thing. Okay, and overconfidence is another thing. Okay, a lot of people without taking the mock test or just one mock test or two mock tests, they just try to sit for the exam and they blur, and then they come back saying, oh, I did not clear it. So I was scoring at a border and that's why I just thought, oh, I'll clear it, but it didn't happen, right? So don't go in overconfidence. Put in that extra effort. Make sure if it takes 15 days extra, take that 15 days extra, but make sure you clear it in one go itself. Okay. And assumptions means a lot of people feel that, oh, PMP is not for me and I need project management. It's very tough because somebody else told you it's tough. You assume it's tough and you drop the idea. It's not tough. It's just that you should know how to walk the path. What is the correct path? That's all. And after that, obviously, effort is needed. If you don't want to put in effort, then don't go for PMP. These are the blunders you should avoid. Memorizing is one of the most important things. Overconfidence, memorizing, referring to it, all of them are equally important. Okay, so it's not like, I don't know who, you might have gone through a few of these things. So just do some more research on these topics if you have made the blunders or you are going to make these blunders. So make sure that you correct yourself on these fronts. Okay, so now tips and tricks. So now that you know the blunders, you know the smart way, you know the normal processes. First of all, what you need to understand is that the PMP exam will be testing not only your knowledge about project management. It tests your knowledge, your application of that knowledge. Are you able to apply that knowledge effectively at work or not, right? They will create scenarios and scenario-based questions and all. So they will try to test your knowledge, how you effectively apply that knowledge. So application of knowledge, then analytical skills, analysis, how you analyze the problem solving skills or analytical skills. And the last one is patience. These are the 4 things that PMI exam tests you. Only because you have a knowledge, believe me, you will not be able to pass the exam. You should be able to apply that knowledge effectively. You need to have a problem solving skills. Plus, you need to be patient. Patient means not a doctor's patient, but a patient, right? So all these 4 things are tested in the PMP exam. So first of all, you need to create a plan for your preparation. How many hours? Think about it. You need to give that thought process. Spend 2 hours, 5 hours, 7 hours, one day, and note it down, document it in an Excel or Word document or somewhere, saying, I normally cover in my slide, in my sessions, how to create an effective plan. I'm not going to talk about that in detail right now, but you need to create a plan on how you need to work out the whole thing. When you will be doing what, how many hours you will be putting in every day, a lot of those things, right? When you will not be available, might be because of work-related commitments, personal commitments. You need to know all those things. Just foresee the future and not too far, only 3 to 4 months, right? The next 3-4 months, how do you see yourself? What you can do, what you cannot do for the PMP preparation, and how you will go about it. So create a plan, okay? That is for the preparation. Second part will be have a strategy during the exam, how you will take, because you do everything in your preparation, you prepare very well, but you never thought about those 4 hours during the exam. How will you tackle the exam questions? If you don't do that, that's a bigger blunder. You are well prepared, but during those 4 hours, you got a shocker of your life, shock of the life. Why? Because you never thought few things that can happen, right? So in those 4 hours, those 230 minutes exam, it's actually a 230-minute exam. You get 2 breaks in between, 10 minutes break each. 60, 60, 60. That's a 180 questions, 230 minutes. And after every 60 questions, you get a 1 break, right? So 60 questions, 1 break, another 60 questions, 1 break, and the last 60 questions. That's how, and all the 360 questions, all 180 together has to be completed in 230 minutes, right? So 240 minutes is 4 hours. So I'm just rounding it to 4 hours. So including the breaks, it will be 250 minutes, right? 230 plus 10 and 10. So in these 4 hours, how you tackle the questions, what type of questions you are struggling during the mock test, you need to analyze all those things and have a strategy for those. Which are the time-consuming questions which you will park for the later answering at the end. All these things you need to know. Upfront, you need to plan for it. How you will manage the questions. If you reach to this bottleneck, if you're running slow, what will you do in the exam? You need to know all those things, okay? So make sure you have a strategy for those 4 hours of the exam as well. That you might do at a later stage as well when you feel you are ready, but you eventually have to do before you go for the exam. Put that as one of the activities to be done before you actually sit for the exam. Okay, and then revise the content at a regular interval. What you learned in the first month, if you don't revise, you will forget by the time second month, third month, fourth month is gone, right? So revision at regular intervals is important. You kept on, you went a one way, and by the time you completed and you realized you forgot everything that you did in the first day, second day of the self-study, right? So don't do that. Keep on revising. It's an iterative thing. Keep on revising all that you have covered. So keep on spending time in between regular intervals to revise all that you have done so far. Okay. And I've talked about the practice exams already to identify your gaps and fix it. I normally cover in much more detail during my sessions when we talk about the strategy in the 35 hours, but make sure you attempt the mock tests as well and identify your gaps and fix those gaps as well. Okay, and then you should be aware of all the different types and patterns of questions that you might get in the exam. Okay, so there will be questions where you might find, oh, these are both of them are correct. Actually, might be both of them are correct. Out of the 4 choices, 2 got eliminated, and out of the other 2, you might feel, oh, both of them are actually correct. And you might come to me saying, Arvind, they asked me to pick one, but actually both of them were correct. Don't you agree? And I'm like, yes, I agree with you. And you will say, then how? Then question is wrong, right? I'm like, no, the question is also right. So what PMI wants is, if both options can be taken, which is a better choice. Sometimes they will not give you the best choice. And you might come back saying, Arvind, you know what? This should be the option, best choice, right? Why they didn't give that option? Because they never gave you that, because it's a realistic thing. Sometimes in the real world, corporate world, the best choice is taken away from the management. They don't want you to do that. Still, they want the project to be done, right? So you have to go with the second best choice. So in that case, in the exam, among the available choices, which is the best choice, probably you will have to pick that. They create those scenarios, practical scenarios. Okay. And they will try to confuse you by putting a lot of unwanted data in the exam questions or in the answer choices. So don't get confused. If you're confident about the subject, if you see some terminologies which might be coming from a law degree or something and no way associated with project management, simply ignore it, eliminate it. Make sure, be prepared for a lot of unwanted data. If you are confident that's no way associated with this question, ignore. Okay. Be ready to get questions which you don't understand. Park it. It's not like one or two questions will not decide whether you pass or fail. But if you get frustrated because of that question or become panicked because of that one question, you are impacting the next 50 questions because of a panicky situation, right? So make sure how to manage the questions that you don't understand. You have to have a plan for that. No shortcuts to save time. Read all the choices, because sometimes both you might say, oh yes, this is right, let's not move on, read it. Might be there is a better choice than that, which, right? So you have to read all the choices before you answer the exam question. And you can tag the questions for later review. So utilize that benefit that PMI is giving you in the exam. Okay. So these are the things that you need to know. And the question patterns, if I talk about, they give you radio button questions where out of the 4, they will ask you to pick one. Sometimes they give you a checkbox where they will say pick 3 out of 4 choices, or 2 out of 4 choices, or 2 out of 5 choices. Drag and drop, match the following, fill in the blanks. They do a lot of these type of questions as well. Till last year, it was just simple multiple choice questions, MCQs. But now it's not like that. All different variations of questions might come. Okay, so be prepared for all of these. If you have the knowledge, if you understand the question, know in what situation, what scenario they're talking about, probably you will be able to get the answer right. Okay, no negative marking. So you should be planned. You should have a plan to answer all the 180 questions in those 230 minutes. You cannot afford a question unanswered in the PMP exam. Okay. And then the PMP preparation, those 300 hours cannot be an ad hoc effort. It has to be a regular and planned effort. It's not like that today you studied for 10 hours, after that you did not study anything for the 5 days, and then suddenly you studied for another 2 hours, then again 3 days break. Please don't do that. It will not help you. It has to be regular. If you're putting every day 2 hours, be disciplined. 2 hours every day means once in a while it's okay, but 9 out of 10 days, it should be 2 to 3 hours every day, whatever you have planned. Stick to your plan. Be consistent. Ad hoc will not help you. Believe me, it will not work. Okay. And again, the next thing, self-assessment, what works for you. So even if I tell you something, but if you feel that's not going to work for you, probably you are right. Because you know more than what I can suggest you, right? There are 5,000 different ways of cracking the PMP exam. Just because somebody cracked it in one way does not mean that is the way you have to follow. Few things like regular efforts, all these things are obvious things. But which book to refer, whether to take the mock exam, whether you want to change the sequence, you want to do the application first or later, all these things based on the comfort level, do a self-assessment and you decide. Okay, and do not overstudy. One of the big blunders which a lot of candidates make, I think I should have added it into the blunder slide, is referring to too many study materials. We are on anyways talking about 2 study materials. Don't try to say, oh, I'll give this book also, that book also, this book also, I'll give 20 mock exams. Please don't do that. Don't give 1 or 2 mock exams, but don't give 20 mock exams as well. Your mind will get saturated by the time you give the actual PMP. Do not overstudy as well. What you get it in one book, the same thing is taught about in the second book, third book, fourth book. So many textbooks are available in the market. PMBOK is not the good book, so pick up one of the good books, which we recommend, Rita Mulki, right? That is one of the best books globally renowned. And the PMI study materials, which is coming from PMI directly, that is something you have to get it for sure, right? So these 2 things are good enough. Don't take, I will not recommend a third study material beyond that. Supporting materials are okay, which you will get from ProThoughts and all those things, but the main textbooks, these are the only 2. Okay, so don't, and do not overstudy. Overstudy means going through the book, revising it 5 times, 10 times. Believe me, if you have understood it in two rounds of the book, if you have not understood it in 2 rounds, probably there has to be some other way to explain it and understand, so that you understand. So if you could not understand in 2 revisions, no guarantee you will understand in the 3rd one as well, right? So try to limit yourself to do overstudy. Emotions and exam pressure is something, it's an individual personality trait, right? So you need to control your emotions during the preparation time, and more importantly during the exam time, 4 hours as well. So how will you control the emotions? Have a plan for it. If you are a little more panicky and emotional that way, make sure that does not come in your way to crack the exam. You need to think practically how many questions you can afford to get it wrong. If you are within that range, you should be comfortable in correct. Nobody can, it's very tough to score 100% in PMP because of the time constraint, the speed with which you need to answer the questions, and the tricky questions and all. It's very tough. If you ask me to take the exam after giving so much trainings and all, I still might get a couple of questions wrong in the PMP still. So there is no, it's very tough to get 100% of the questions right. That's why they have a range in which if you score, you will pass. So make sure you are comfortably in that range. Okay. So don't panic or don't let emotions and exam pressure overcome you. Very important. And one last thing, a day before the exam, stop studying. So if you are taking the exam tomorrow morning, stop studying today morning. One, like if I have to give you my example, I actually watched a movie before going to the PMP exam. I watched a 2-hour movie, not immediately before going to the exam, but like in that 24 hours, I actually watched a movie. I overslept because you need to be fresh in those 4 hours, right? So don't, that you slept only 6 hours and woke up and went for the exam. Don't do that, please. Sleep well before the exam. You need to be fresh in your mind. Otherwise, all the 3-4 months of effort will go in waste. So I will suggest stop studying what you have studied in 4 months. Probably you cannot cover that in next 20 months or 20 hours or next 10 hours or so, right? So stop studying on the last day. At least be fresh and do something different. So that when you actually sit for the exam, that's change of work is rest, right? So change your work in that last 24 hours, so that when you go for the exam, it's again, you're coming back to PMP, so you got a rest already. Very important. These are things you might feel that why I'm talking about it, but it makes a very big impact. You will not realize probably. Okay, plan for all these things. Note it down because you will not remember these things. Okay, so that was all about from my side. These are the PMI India contact details. Similarly, PMI is present in 50 plus countries in globally, and they all have their local presence in all those countries. So just like how I put the Indian numbers here, Indian contact details, similarly, you will find if you are in say Europe or Africa or US or Japan or Australia or any of the Middle East countries or anywhere else, you will find local PMI contact details. Just go on the pmi.org and you should be able to, you can select the geography and the country and they will navigate you to that country specific website where you will find the contact details of PMI. So if you need any information about PMI, you can directly connect with the local presence of PMI there. I've just put the Indian contact. I cannot put all the 54 countries details here, but because I am from India, so I'm just thought of putting the Indian contact details here. Okay. So you can note down if you need something, take a picture or note down if you want. Okay, and I'm just going to the next slide. Now I see some questions here. So Rishikesh, every mock tests will be different. So if you talk about ProThoughts, Pro Mock exams, you should be scoring around 75% or higher to crack the PMP. Okay, normally the PMI score required is around 70%. PMI officially has not announced that. It's a lot of combinations. What I've given you a very rough number. You need to understand a lot of combinations which decides the pass or fail. Sometimes even with 75, you might fail the exam. So you need to know those combinations. I normally take 30 minutes on the first day to cover that pass fail thing in detail. But on a high level, you should be scoring around 75% in the ProThought mocks. In overall in PMP exam, it should be around 70% or higher. 70 is like a border case in PMP. So I will show you Anand, just 1 minute. I'll show you about the Pro Mock thing. Okay, just give me 1 minute. So I'll tell you about the Pro Mock thing in a while. Let me answer the queries, then I'll come to the Pro Mock. So Vinay, to answer your question, I think you have asked a little earlier, it's around 30-40 minutes back, that yes, right now the classroom trainings are all on hold and we are just doing live online sessions. Okay, so PMI have got away with the self-paced learning. Okay, so it's no more self-paced learning for PMP anymore allowed by PMI. It has to be live sessions, either classroom physical sessions live or online live, just like this one. So all our PMP trainings are live online sessions right now. So we do conduct virtual trainings, 2 PMP workshops every month. So whichever, if you want, I conduct one out of it, and we have another trainer, authorized trainer from PMI. He conducts the other one. So 2 batches every month. One is a weekend batch, other is a weekday batch. So the dates, if you want, you can. I'm going to share the contact details of ProThoughts on the screen, so you can message us on these numbers, WhatsApp or email us on this. So you can note down the contact detail of ProThoughts. If you need details about the PMP batches and everything which we are conducting, you can reach us out on these. Okay, WhatsApp, or you can call us as well on these numbers. Okay. So we do conduct 2 batches every month, weekend batch 1 and weekday batches. So 35 hours. And so Sandeep has a big question. So let me just go through that. Around 10 years of experience in ITBO. I have worked in the dual role of a PM and IT. Since we are a small organization, can you tell me if it is the experience? Yes. So Sandeep, small organization, big organization, small project, large project does not really matter. If you have been working on the projects, you will qualify. Small or big, no impact for your qualification. Okay. I'll share the claim code, Daniel, at the end. Just give me 1 minute. While taking the questions, I'll share it. Okay. Just let me answer the questions. At the end, I'll do that. So, Sandeep, to answer your question, does not matter, big, small, whether project or organization, they're all equally considered by PMI. Okay. It should be project management experience. Small project, big project does not matter. So Rohan, only Rita Mulkey 10th edition. Rita Mulkey markets that, yes, that is good enough, but I'll be a little uncomfortable because PMI is giving a dedicated Hello Choice platform, students manual access, which is purely for the new editions from this year onwards, because 50% syllabus has been agile from this year onward, right? And PMBOK and Rita Mulkey does not cover that level of agile equal. So you need a little more detail about agile information, right? And PMP specific agile information is what PMI Yellow Choice platform student manual covers. It's primarily focused on agile. Non-agile is covered very effectively in Rita Mulkey. So Rita Mulkey 10th edition has covered a lot of agile things as compared to Rita 9, but still I will say if it's something coming from PMI, you should not be ignoring that. So yes, so when you take a PMI membership, you can download the soft copy of PMBOK PDF file, but it's a copyrighted material, you cannot share. It's a password protected PDF file. Your PMI login password will be the same password on that PDF file. And on every page of that, it says only for this member ID, not for distribution. So if you share it with me and I share it with somebody else and PMI gets hold of it, believe me, you will be blacklisted by PMI, because that PDF has your member ID, right? So don't take that risk of sharing. Nobody will do that. So, but with your PMI membership, you will get a soft copy of PMBOK. That is the reason why people just to save money, try to prepare based on that. But PMI says that's not for PMP. That's the project management standards globally, which corporate should be implementing. So from that point of, they never talk about PMP and PMBOK. You will never find that term there in the PMBOK. So Sachin, one big misunderstanding globally is, oh, PMP is only for IT. Believe me, when PMI got set up back in 1950s, when IT was not even existing. So the entire syllabus of PMP and the project management from PMI has been designed from the traditional industry standpoint, construction, manufacturing industries and all, right? So most of these project management concepts which have been designed are from the traditional industry standpoints, but gradually the other industries like banking, IT, pharma, all these industries started realizing that these PMP concepts are so strong and so effectively applicable to us as well, that we can also apply that in a customized format. That's why they also started accustoming. But primarily PMP is designed for the traditional industries. But it's so generic and so wide acceptable that across industries, across geographies, PMP is acceptable. and can be applied. The knowledge can be applied. Like say, for example, how to motivate an employee. How to motivate an employee? Is it IT specific? How to control attrition? How to become an effective leader rather than a manager? Are these IT specific things? No, right? So that's why you learn a lot of these type of things in PMP, which is nothing to do with IT. I know a lot of people who do PMP because they want to switch industries from telecom to construction and so on. I've known people who have done that successfully. So people use the PMP for that as well. Okay, so don't assume that PMP is only for IT. It's the very wrong statement. Okay, so few people are asking for the claim code. So let me just put the claim code. Just give me 1 minute, and I'll take up any questions that you have in the meanwhile. And one more thing is, I'm initiating a poll. If you're launching a poll, it will take not more than 1 minute. 3 questions, if you could answer. And let me just type in the claim code here in the meanwhile. Okay, just give me 1 second. I'll type it in the chat box so you can copy it from there. Okay, I'm just typing in it's alphanumeric thing. So just give me 1 second. Okay, so this is the claim code for this one PDU, 1 hour that you can claim on the PMI website. But don't claim it today. You can copy it and please give it 24 hours. Effective tomorrow evening, anytime you can claim 1 hour for that based on this. And if you struggle to claim out of this, please drop an email. Let me just share with you the contact details of ProThoughts again. You can reach us out if this is not working. Drop an email on support@ProThoughts and the backend team will be able to respond back to you. But chances are very rare that it will not work. Any other questions that you want me to answer? I can see, I just browsed through all the queries and I don't see any questions. Yes, ProMock, let me just, good that you reminded. So let me just, so Savita, I have unmuted you. Sudhir, I have unmuted you. So please unmute yourself and you can ask the question.
Hi.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you. This is Sudhir here. So I just wanted to check. So I come from a pure service delivery BPO operations background where I have just handled more of, processes and people management. So like what you were initially referring about 3,500 hours of experience. So is that got to do only with projects or how does that work and how does the eligibility come into picture?
See, the requirement from project PMI is not that you need to be a project manager. Okay, that's a misconception. A lot of people feel, oh, I have to be a project manager to become a PM, to go for PMP. No, a lot of people do PMP because they want to become project manager. Okay. The requirement is not that you have to be a project manager. The requirement is that you have to be a part of the project for those 3,600 hours.
Okay.
3,500 hours, 36 months. So 3 years of experience, project experience will qualify you for project. So being a part of the project means you have been doing something or the other in project management. That's a basic assumption.
True. Yeah. So like I've been like a senior manager and I have total 16 years of experience. So I think
16 years of experience, full stop. You will qualify for PMP. Anything in double digit, there is no reason why you should not qualify. Okay, because you have been doing something or the other. Even if you have been a part of operations or something, I think I know what type of project management activities you might have done in operations as well. So you should be able to qualify. So double digit experience does not matter. 10 plus years, normally this 3,600 hours, 36 months of experience is more for those people who are at the border, like 3, 4, 5 years of experience. There they need to have a complete project experience to qualify.
Okay.
Okay, and it's industry agnostic. Does not matter which domain, which geography, which industry you come for. Till the time project experience can be shown, you will qualify.
Okay, and post, like, if we are able to clear the PMP certification and stuff, so if we are really interested to get into long-term prospects in terms of training and stuff, do you think that is something which is doable, or do you think we need to maintain a parallel work and then
no. So there is always PMP trainer, becoming a PMP trainer is a full-time thing. Okay, so you cannot do it as a side business. So that is something, if you are planning to, then if you are okay with taking up project management as a full-time thing, then you might think of it. Everybody has to start somewhere. I was not a trainer on day one, right? I have my 15 years. So at one point I started. So if you want to get into that, there is always an opportunity. But if you just want it as an additional income, probably PMI is not liking that anymore. You have to take it as dedicated effort into training industry.
Okay.
It may not be purely training, like ProThoughts into not only training, we are into project management dedicatedly. That's why we got approved easily by PMI, right? To continue with as an ATP. So this is becoming a one big chunk of it. So a lot of institutes actually got rejected who are into so many trainings that their project management is just one out of the 500 things that they do. In that case, PMI have rejected their PMI because they're not too much worried about the quality of the PMP program.
Okay. And one last question, Arvind. If I'm planning to move from the BPO sector to the IT sector, do you think this certification will help?
As I said, a lot of people have done that industry shift effectively using the PMP knowledge. So knowledge and the credentials by clearing the exam, right? So it will need a little extra skills on your side as well, but it will open the door at least for you. You need to still walk through the door, right?
Yes.
You need to plan for it and accordingly put in effort. There is no reason why you should not be able to do it, but effort still has to be going, and it will not happen overnight for sure.
True. Sure. Thank you so much.
So, okay, so now let me just quickly walk you through the ProMock thing. I think somebody asked that earlier. I missed out the name, sorry. So let me just help you with the ProMock thing. So if you just go on the promock.prothoughtsolutions.com, that's the website. Okay, so let me just, okay, by the way, I need to end the poll here and share the results. So at least this part is done. Okay, now, so promock.prothoughtsolutions.com. This is the dedicated website for the mock test that we have created. Okay, and we have recently launched last month itself. So so you can sign up for free access to our, there is a free exam simulator which you can test. There are sample 24 questions which you can go for, right? I've already signed up, so I can just show you with that. So I'm already logged in. So once you sign up, you go here, there will be a login option. Okay, so let me just show you that as well. Log out. So when you go to promock.prothoughtsolutions.com, create a free account, user ID, password, and email. And based on that, your account will be created, and then click on login. Put in the ID password with which you have already signed up and log in. So once you are logged in, you can see simulator, right? So enter the simulator. You will have a PMP free exam. So this will be available to anybody who creates a free account on the ProMock. Okay, but if you want a paid account to those 5 mock tests, then you need to pay for that and take a PMP exam simulator. We have other exam simulators as well, but I'm talking about PMP specifically now. So PMP free exam, you can just, these are just, if I just show you, let me just go to that. So it's just one mock test of 24 questions, and you can show a detailed result and all. So you will have a good feel of how the results and everything will be analyzed. Just how it is analyzing the 24 questions. Similarly, it will be analyzing the entire 180 questions per mock test on the similar lines, right? So free mock test, you can just simply order free of cost and get an access right away. And for the PMP free exam simulator, you can just pay. And I think right now we have put I was under conception, it was 6,000 plus, but probably the promotion is still going on of 4,900 for the 5 mock tests. So it's a 120 days access, 180 into 5, 900 questions for 5. So it's divided into 5 mock tests. Once you take it, it will, when you log in, it will say mock test 1, mock test 2, 3, 4, 5. You click on mock test 1, take it, analyze the results. Then you can start to the mock test 2 as well, mock test 3, 4, 5. So all in all, 900 questions. Okay. So if I go to the dashboard, my personal dashboard, you can always see my results, my exams, all these things. If you have taken the paid account, you will see the 5 exams here under my exams, and you can always go back and review your results and n number of times. Yes. So Vinay, that was a typo from my side. It has to be either prothoughts.co.in or prothoughtsolutions.com. Both work. Prothoughtsolutions.com or prothoughts.co.in. Okay. So thanks for that. That is a typo from my side while preparing the slides. I'll correct that. Okay. Any other questions? So PDU certificate, Rohan Nam. So for this one PDU, you will not get a certificate. It's just that using the claim code, you can just claim it on the PMI website. Okay. Claim code is shared, Justin. I will copy paste it again. Just give me 1 second. I think most of you have got it. So let me just copy the claim code once more, because a lot of chats are going on. So when I shared, I think it went up. Just copy pasting the claim code once more. Oh, it's not, copy paste is not working. Let me type in again. So I've just typed in the claim code once more for the one PDU that you can use, but use it not right away, but maybe after 24 hours. Okay. Effective tomorrow evening. So Rama, scope of PMP is the same. Does not matter whether it's construction or pharma or banking. If you want to be in the project management field, then PMP is for you. And I know a lot of people who don't want to be in project management, just for the additional knowledge, upgradation of theirs, they just come for it. They are into leadership positions and all. They just need to know the standards in project management, so that the project managers enter them. They need to know how they should be working. They just come for that. So just for the knowledge also people come. And if you want a growth, then it is only if you want to be into project management role. Okay. So Rohan, if the 35 trainings, we purely don't give you only the training. As I said, you will be needing a lot of additional support as well. So we have multiple packages. So if you are interested, you can reach us out.